Good morning, Slop Nation. Welcome to Slop Chop. This is a new comedy podcast hosted by myself, Harvey, Mulvihill. It is about the happenings of the internet, and it is your one-stop shop for slop. Thank you for joining me. I believe this is episode 15. My thinking is because last week we had our first guest on the pod. I think I'm going to do a guest every other week. That's my plan. So solo episodes will continue to be a mainstay of the podcast, and the heart of Slop Chop is me shouting into the void about garbage, news. It's news. It's very important things that we're discussing here on the program. And I would like to first remind you all that if one of these very important things does not interest you, there are always time codes in the description of the episode for whatever listening app you choose to use. It's in there. Sometimes YouTube, for some reason, won't make them happen, but they are in the description. So let's get into it, shall we? Sloppers, one Aubrey Graham has released a new track, a new song. I think pretty much his first real public. No, that's not. Well, hold on. He had that, hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? Which was awesome. He had that, but this is his first thing in a minute. It's called What Did I Miss? I enjoy it. It's a heater. I'm really just kind of amazed at the kind of what I've seen from the comments section is universal praise and like even regret for how we collectively treated this man during the beef with Kendrick Lamar about a year ago. I do not share that sentiment at all. I do not feel sorrowful in the slightest for the way we treated Mr. Graham. I think it was hilarious and insane and one of the coolest things that I've ever lived through as a rap fan. That was insane and amazing. How are we feeling about Aubrey Sloppers? How are we feeling about Mr. Graham? I'm curious where the culture's at on this one, because the culture was very anti-Drake, and I think, he has permanently tarnished his reputation. And similar to someone who's been canceled, there's always that thing of like, I'm pretty good at separating art from the artist or whatever, but you still do have the idea or the thought of the thing in your head whenever you engage with that person's art for the rest of time, right? It's a kind of it's an inevitable thing, and you can separate it as much as you want, but you have to make a conscious effort to do so. And your first thought is always like, oh yeah, damn. I guess after a while, it kind of blends into the background. Like I always talk about Louis C.K., my favorite comedian. For the longest, it is, whenever I watched a special of his or whatever, that's the first thing I thought of. I've gotten to the point now where I don't, but whenever I bring him up to literally anyone else, that is always what we talk about is the beaten. Of course it is. Like, it was a crazy, massively public thing, and that's who that guy is for the rest of time. But to a diehard fan like myself, I'm still thinking about it, right? Despite it it's been years now. He's apologized. People have moved on. It's still part of his story, right? And now this is part of Drake's story for the rest of time. I genuinely like the Pusha T thing was crazy, but Pusha is a much less powerful, popular artist. And this was a much less public beef, and Drake didn't respond to that. And now Drake is, this is old, it's old news at this point. This is more than a year ago when this happened, but that shit doesn't, people don't forget. Super bad. So people don't forget. However, so I think the general normie Drake fan is in his comment section right now being like, bro, I can't believe the way everyone treated you. Like, that's such bullshit, dude. Like, dude, Drake is so underappreciated. Like, that whole thing with who even cares about Kendrick? Like, dude, Drake has been. There's credence to that argument, right? But I've said this before, and I think I'll say it again at some point. What Drake would really like you to do is not mention it or not bring it up, you know? He doesn't want to be tied to this very public embarrassment for the rest of his life. But I don't think there's a way around it, brother. I think you're this guy forever. Yeah, what Drake would like you to do is just shut the fuck up about it and let the man live, and let him release new music and it having it receive the criticism or compliments that it normally would. But instead, every comment section is full of people like, bro, Kendrick's like everyone's talking about it still. And it's been a year, right? Eventually that will die down, I figure. I do think, again, he's tarnished his reputation permanently. He got into it with the wrong fucking guy. I don't know why you'd ever do that, poke a fight with someone like that, but he did. And all right, well, here's the other thing. Here's the other piece of it, right? Like, there was some pretty serious fucked up allegations that were lobbied at Drake, and I don't think people are holding those against him anymore. I think people are just kind of like clowning on him because it's funny, but I don't think anyone is out here being like, nah, Drake's a predator. Drake's a PDF file or whatever the online slang bullshit is. I don't know if people are out here doing that, and I think they should. I think they should. I think it's well deserved. There's plenty of evidence. Millie Bobby Brown. No, I don't know. Like, so it's kind of just the memery of the whole thing and the slop of it all. It's just the fact that the most popular artist on the planet Earth was in a very public feud with the most well-respected artist on the planet Earth. Very interesting situation there. But I re-listened to I re-listened to Meet the Grahams the other day, just a little stroll down memory lane. That song is fucked up. That song is like evil. That song is like, it has like evil vibes. It's hard really to explain, but it's a goddamn heater. My favorite part is when he's talking to his mom. Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think people like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get fucked up in a cell for the rest of their lives. Oh my God, do you remember being alive during that time, dude? See, that's like that's like, man, I wish I had a public platform that I could talk shit about, stuff. That's the pinnacle of slop. Stuff like that. In a broader way, just the pinnacle of entertainment, when some shit like that goes down and the whole world is on the same page, or we're all just eagerly awaiting the next drop of the song. And oh, dude, it makes you proud to be a human being, excited to live, it's beautiful. And it's even better when someone is the butt of the joke. We can all sneer and laugh and go, ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Drakathy. So yeah, who knows, man? Who knows what's in the cards for that man, for that dude? I do not know the answer. I'm not God. But yeah, the new song's a heater. He calls out a bunch of people that are, were like messing, or he calls out the fake fans that stood behind a traitor. Like, he wants the kind of blind loyalty that I want on this podcast. I want a sort of a monolithic group of sort of zombies listening to Slop Chop who agree with my every thought and whim and never criticize. That is who I want to surround. That's what, not even as listeners, but just people in my life. I want to surround myself with yes men who think I'm the shit and just inflate and fan my ego. That's the dream, right? That's how you get to be like a Kanye West, man. I want to live in that sort of delusion for the rest of my life. I mean, it sounds fantastic. 100% fake friends. Oh, man. No, that does sound great, but yeah, like, you know, I think there's a 0% chance that anyone in his camp is telling him anything but what he wants to hear, you know, because they're still in his camp. The ones that cut and run during the beef or switch sides, or he lost a lot of friends. He lost a lot of friends during that exchange. Many people went the other direction. I don't blame them for doing so. Pretty serious allegations. And also, again, everyone was just clowning on him, and it was funny. And it's fun to jump on the bandwagon. As I like to say, I'm no better than those people. I was one of those people. Bandwagons are the shit. Dog piles are a good time. But yeah, I guess shouts out to Drake. I don't know. What did I miss? It's a good song. And you know, I had someone, a younger, you know, member of the next generation ask me a couple months ago, like, gun to your head, Drake or Kendrick for the rest of your life. And I was, oof. Like, I legit had to think about it. Kendrick's the answer, for sure. But, like, I love Drake. I do. I've loved his music forever. He was one of the dudes that got me into hip hop when I was a youngin'. I'm not, you know, like sure, he diddles, but he's made 3 decades of great music. 2 decades at least. But again, I don't think anyone can be on top for that long and not attract some people who are wanting to pull them down. That is not to diminish the facts or the allegations if there are truth to them, which it does seem like there is. Or else why would you say it, you know? But shouts out to Aubrey Graham. We love you, buddy. What did I miss? He'll be fine. He's doing a European tour right now. I'm seeing videos of packed stadiums. He's doing just fine. He's gonna be all right. But I do think the amount of sleep he's lost over this thing has to be dramatic, and it's only going to get worse as his kid continues to grow up, and people are, his classmates are going to remind him of this situation for years to come. And no matter how much money you have, as we've learned from people like Elon Musk, it doesn't matter the number. You want clout. You want cool. You want to be cool. And if someone takes that from you after years of people thinking you're cool, I don't know. It's got to hurt. It's got to hurt. I get it. Ego's a fascinating thing that way. It's very powerful. And, you just can't stay on the top. You can't stay on the top for that long. I don't think anyone has successfully stayed on the top for... Honestly, he got to... You could argue he's still there, but he's definitely been knocked down a peg. And you could argue that his reign on the top was longer than most celebrities. 20 years, bro? That's crazy. To be famous and relevant for that long and respected, mostly respected, it's impressive. It's an impressive feat. So who knows, who knows what will come next with old Drakey Poo. We wish him the best. I have nothing more to say on the subject. God bless you, Drake. God bless you, Kendrick Lamar. I fucking love Kendrick so goddamn much, dude. I was listening to Triple X, the Damn song. Oh my God, that song is a fucking heater. Absolute heater. Oh, I won't sugarcoat the answer for you. This is how I feel. If somebody killed my son, that means somebody getting killed. The white version. If somebody kills my son, that means somebody's getting killed, I have to say. Unfortunately. Ain't no black power when your baby killed by a coward. Come on, dude. Damn was the shit. I have a signed poster of Damn on my wall, just out of frame. What an album. What a man. Much more interesting artist than Drake, you have to admit. Drake puts out slop. I worry about overusing that word, but in this case, I think it's extremely accurate. Drake puts out music slop, where every album is 48 tracks. They're all 3.5 hours long. It's like a Martin Scorsese production. And 75% of it is garbage. And the idea is, in the streaming era, it doesn't really matter. You want to do quantity over quality at all points. Because people, that's just how to be totally honest, I don't fully understand why. But it's like stream time, watch time is the most important metric. So if people want, if you, let's say most people are only going to listen to your album once. The people that are going to listen to your album, most of those humans are only going to listen to it once, I have to assume. So you'd want it to be longer. If it's 10 songs, you get X dollars. And if it's 28 songs, you get double X dollars. Right? That's the idea, I think. But then you'd think well, if it's a short, really great album, wouldn't you get more replayability? And isn't that the same thing? And maybe that's just not as powerful as the first listen. Perhaps. Or maybe, the 75% of the album that I think is garbage is actually appealing to some people. That's also possible. So I really don't know the answer to that. You remember when Kanye had that run of, I'm such a fucking boomer, dude. I'm incapable of not living through the lens of nostalgia, just peering through and reminiscing upon the good old times of, what even was that? Pre-COVID, obviously. 2017, 18? Those eight track albums, or EPs, whatever you want to call them. Brother, just all heat, no misses. That's the kind of shit that I like. And bloated, grotesque abominations like these recent Drake projects. That's that shit I don't like. But anyway, shouts out to Aubrey. We love you. I genuinely do like your music a lot. And I'll listen to anything you put out. For the most part, I did not actually. Okay, well, I had to take that back because I didn't listen to this most recent thing with that fucking guy. What's his name? I only like that one song. Who calling my phone? Who calling my phone? Is it Stacy? Is it? Yeah, Party Next Door. Some Sexy Songs for You is the album. 'Twas bad. But I listened to it. I didn't listen to most of it. I skipped over a lot of stuff. But this man has not put out a great project in quite some time. Can we all agree on that? And why are they so long? Why do you need 30 tracks on a freaking album? Why? 23 on this most for all the dogs. What are we doing with that? Friends, sloppers? I think of you as family at this point, sloppers. The Slop Nation I think of as family. I think we're closer than friends. There has to be someone just laying into the parasocial thing like that. Yes. I'd like to hijack your emotional sort of regulation and put thoughts in your mouth and your head. Put words in your mouth and thoughts in your head. All right. Drakathy, Aubrey. Onward to topic number 2. Always Sunny is back. Are you guys watching this new season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? My favorite comedy of all time. This is season number 78. They've been on the air for 213 years. I will say that, well, there's a couple things here. First of all, jarring to see the opening credits and Rob Mack is just right there. And the last credit that you see, it's always created by Rob McElhenney, and now it's created by Rob Mack. And it's just like, change is tough that always, but this just feels odd. It just feels odd, you know? That's all I can say, is that it feels strange. He actually put out a video, which I might put pieces of in the episode.
Hi. Okay, I'm going to dedicate exactly 1 minute to this. Start the clock. Yes, I'm shortening my name to Rob Mack, mostly a stage name, but I digress. Is it kind of douchey? Sure. But the amount of time that I've wasted trying to get people to either say or spell my name correctly is literally days of my life. Trust me, I added it up. More importantly, it means thousands of you have had minutes of your life stolen by me because of my last name, including this one.
Cute enough video, I think. Gets his point across in less than a minute. I mean, I was not the one to have this realization, but his work with Ryan Reynolds has really poisoned his brain. It's the Deadpool cadence. He's doing the Ryan Reynolds cadence.
There are so many things going on in the world, and this is a silly one to continue to waste your time with. Honestly, call me whatever you want. Marion, Jerome, Archibald, Eric, Maurice, Stephanie, Francis, Marvin, Gordon, or Sam. But maybe we just keep it simple and try Rob Mack. Let's see how it goes.
I think this is what happens when you hang out with a guy for as long as he has, is you pick up his mannerisms and I haven't seen it in the show yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with, like, you know, he starts doing full Deadpool, like fourth wall breaks, and that'd be funny. Yeah, strange video, strange thing. Rob Mack, not a fan, but it doesn't matter what I say, what I think. I'm just an asshole on the internet. Barely on the internet, allegedly on the internet. Just getting started on the internet. Thank you for listening. But yeah, so there's 2 episodes out of Sunny, and the pilot's incorrect. The first episode of the season was the continuation of the Abbott Elementary plot. They did a spinoff or a crossover event. Sunny did an episode of Abbott Elementary and vice versa. So this is the second of 2 parts. And I enjoyed it for the most part. I think it was interesting. I have never seen Abbott Elementary, but the funniest stuff in this episode was from those characters. The Abbott Elementary stuff was the funniest stuff. The Sunny stuff was much less good. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the first thing they shot. For those who don't know, TV shows are shot totally out of order. Sometimes, sometimes you'll get, like, we're doing episode 1 and episode 2 or whatever, but, like, depending on the locations, there'll be a lot of crossover. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was the first thing they actually shot of the new season, because it is clunky. It's clunky. It's odd. It's like they're going through the motions. It's like they're trying to remember how to do the characters. That's what it feels like to me. And meanwhile, the Abbott Elementary stuff is like buttery smooth, really funny. So yeah, I would love some inside information on that. If I could find that would be really cool. If this is like shot at the tail end, it would make sense though, wouldn't it? Right? Because the previous crossover happened in last season of Abbott, and the Sunny version just now aired last week. So it would make sense that they were in the middle of shooting Abbott Elementary, and the Sunny guys had been off the clock and not working for the show for months or like a year. So this is their first time back in the characters. It makes sense. And it makes sense that it's so clunky and bad and weird and awkward and just odd. I don't know. It's like they're talking over each other, but it looks like they're stepping on each other's lines. There's not really like that sort of yelling over each other, but trying to get your point across that Sunny is famous for. It's more just kind of like they're muttering over each other's words, and it's odd. And again, then you cut to the Abbott people and they're just killing it, buttery smooth. So that's my theory, but that's just a theory. Have you guys seen it? What do you guys think? There was a weird plot point that I will mention now because I was confused by it. And as far as I can tell, I haven't done any research. Yeah, I've been really crunching the numbers about this. I haven't looked on Reddit or anything about this, but there was a plot point where Dennis was making coffee for everyone. The whole school. Your setup is that the Sunny guys are at the elementary school and they're getting into shenanigans, right? And Dennis comes in on day one into the teacher's lounge and looks at the coffee pot and it's gross. It's like sludge and the coffee's bad. So he's like, I'm going to fix that. And so he starts making coffee. Dennis Reynolds, the psychopath, starts making coffee and it's really good. And then he gets like this group of people that are like in line for his coffee, right? All the other teachers and everything are like, holy shit, this guy's incredible at making coffee. And they're putting in like complicated orders, like a espresso macchiato with caramel drip. That's but that's as far as the joke goes. You think that's all set up, right? And the payoff is he's sprinkling cocaine in it or I don't know, ketamine or some shit. Like he's putting drugs in the coffee. That's why everyone thinks it's so great. And instead the payoff is nothing. He's in fact just good at making coffee, apparently. What? Huh? Why? What? Was there payoff in the other episode that I'm missing? Perhaps that's it. I wouldn't think so, though. This seems like a one and done type plot point. But it's so strange to me that there's nothing that came of that. And it's just that Dennis is great at making coffee. Like, oh, great. Okay. The closest thing we got to a payoff was him being annoyed that people were putting in complicated orders for his delicious coffee. Very odd. So I'd love some insight on that. I might do some Reddit digging to see if it's just odd. It's weird. There's definitely I've never seen any coffee. He's never done this before. It isn't like a callback or something. So what's the point of it? Wouldn't you put a joke in there? Why would you just have that? It's very strange. So clunky, odd. That's episode 1. Episode 2, still clunky, but better. There is a great payoff at the end that I will not spoil. This is the kind of payoff that you'd be looking for in the coffee pot situation. The end of the episode is fantastic and very classic Sunny and really good. All of the rest of it is a clunk fest. Clunk fest. Alex Wolff from Hereditary guest stars, and he's really good. He has I think that guy is so hit or miss. I think he's great in Hereditary. I've heard mixed things about his performance in that film. I think he's great. I don't think there's a wink. I don't think there's a weak link in that film. Personally, I think it is a masterpiece. But yeah, I've never seen his comedic chops before. He's funny. He's got good timing. It seemed to me like there's a lot of improv in there. He's playing like a tech bro, multimillionaire drug addict. That's the character. And the Sunny guys go to this ball, this event where rich people are at. And they're trying to like do business with Alex Wolff. That's the thing. And it's funny. It's pretty good. This one felt much more classic Sunny than, well, obviously it wasn't a fucking crossover. But there's elements of this one that were good, got to the heart of the show and why people love it, like myself. I think it just doesn't quite hit, and I don't know if it ever will again. I was looking through, man, that run of like, it's damn near the whole show. But I was looking in, because my theory that season 7 was peak, that it was like just getting better and better and better, and season 7 was like the best season of the show, and it slowly started to decline. That was my theory, and I think that I continue that theory. However, there's so much great shit in 8, 9, 10, even 11. I think the Charlie Work episode is season 10. So that's 3 seasons after. Like, they're still doing really awesome, creative, incredible shit. And they're it's not like they're not doing that now. They still have the I'm sure they'll do it again this season, but every season they do like a wacky concept episode. They've done like a musical. They've done, the recreating the, oh God, what's it? The fucking Lethal Weapon movies, right? It's like Lethal Weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong, sloppers. The Gang Turns Black. There's Charlie Work, of course. Shardy McDennis. There's always like a wacky concept episode, and they're always awesome. The animated one, they did, I guess it was more of an arc, but the whole Irish thing, that was not great. That was fully in the camp of like the recent mid seasons. Anyway, I'll never not watch the show. I'll watch it until until Danny DeVito finally dies and they have to end it. I have to imagine that's really the thing that will end the show, is Danny dying. I don't know why else they would quit. It's popular. It still brings in viewership. They keep getting renewed. I mean, it made them all famous. It's beloved, massive fan base. Yeah, it's got to be hard to walk away from. But I don't know why they would ever stop. But I would, if Danny dies, when Danny dies, I could definitely see that happening. So until then, until that day, I will continue watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, another property that I have a poster of in this very room. Maybe one day I'll show you all my posters. I found that, in a studio space, it's really good to have flat, reflective glass all over the walls in the form of movie posters and shit. What you really don't want is like padding, stuff that absorbs echo. You want it to just bounce right back. I think it sounds fine, except for the audio buzz, which makes me want to kill myself. But what can you do? Actually, for a look behind the curtain here, would you like a little look behind the curtain, sloppers? For a little look behind the curtain, I Googled it, and apparently, so all my equipment is fine. I've troubleshot all my. Let me just start over. Let me just start the fuck over. There's a microphone buzz that you can hear very clearly if you turn the gain way up, and I always have to take it out as to the best of my ability in post. I always put a fat ass denoise on the audio, which does most of the job, but it hurts your recording quality at least a bit. There's a million things that I could be doing better. This doesn't sound, fuck me in the ass. Maybe this is too much. Bear with me. Skip this part if you don't want to fucking hear this. But I hesitate to use the word real podcasts. I listen to professional podcasts, and they sound way better than Slop Chop. So I don't know how exactly to fix that. I'm working on it. The audio buzz is part of it, but it also sounds like when I listen to like any professional podcast, it sounds like full and rich, and I'm lacking that quality. But maybe it's, I think it sounds fine. It's not like it sounds bad. It's not like I'm recording on a fucking iPhone, but it's like, it's lacking a little bit of that oomph. But then you go back and you listen, like one of my favorite things to do especially with and we'll get to this in a second. This you'll see, you'll fucking see in a second. One of my favorite things to do with like YouTubers and podcasters that I love is go to their old, like sort by old on their channel and go listen and watch, look at their quality. It's crazy the growth that happens just by doing the thing over time. All it takes is doing it and figuring it out over time. There's no amount of thinking about the thing that can fix it preemptively. You just kind of have to barrel forth. And so I spent like a half hour today troubleshooting again with ChatGPT and Google, and I have come to the conclusion that it is not my equipment that is bad. My equipment is in fact fine. This again, we're back to the rich full thing. That I can fix, I think, in post. I just don't know really how to do it yet. The audio buzz is something that is in pre. That happens in pre. It's it's tried. I try to fix it in post, in editing, but it's a problem and it's fucking annoying. And it's really, really apparent when you have two microphones plugged in. And so here's what I've come down. Here is what I have discovered, sloppers. It's not my equipment's fault. It's the room's fault. The studio itself has like bleeding electromagnetic interference, which is a thing. I was not aware of that, but it's a thing. And I know this because when I have a battery powered receiver here that ran out of batteries last episode, had like for comical effect or whatever, I don't know, at the very end of last episode ran out of batteries, but a battery receiver plugged into a microphone still gets the buzz with every other electronic device in the room turned off or unplugged. And I said those words to Guitar Center guy over the phone, and he said, "Jesus Christ." And I was like, fuck, that's probably not good. He's like, you have a crazy amount of bleeding EMI, electromagnetic interference, in your room, in this very room of ours, this studio. So there's nothing to be done except for move rooms or painstakingly put up fucking like copper wiring all around my space here, which is not ideal and very expensive. And I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. So I have to move rooms or I have to deal with it. And the test, by the way, or what I learned is like, you can test this, make sure that it is in fact the electromagnetic interference by using tinfoil. Did you know that the crazies, like the classic joke of like tinfoil on your head, they might have something to it, because it does in fact, it blocks electromagnetic interference, and which can fuck up your microphones or like give you a buzz in your recording. And so if you surround the thing with tinfoil, like I did here, I made this crude sort of situation with and I just went, I'm not going to do it because it's going to sound like a nightmare. But lo and behold, as soon as I did that, it didn't get rid of it, but it reduced it significantly. So that's my issue. I have just, it's due to like faulty wiring or shitty something or other in the walls. So it's unfortunate. And it's something I had no idea about. Again, something I never would have known had I not just done it, just started, right? You see, because you'd think that if you buy a good microphone and you buy a good audio setup and you plug those things into your solid computer, they should sound pretty good, right? When in fact, there's all kinds of other things that you have to deal with as well. So that sucks, man. And people that are smart and know how to do this stuff, I have to imagine, just plan for this and do a layer of the copper in the walls when they build a studio space. That's probably what happens. But I didn't know that. So, look, life's a journey. I'm learning. It's so much fun to learn. It's just a joy every day to learn as much as I'm learning. Fuck this. Enough of this behind the scenes bullshit, brother. One more little behind the scenes thing. Not behind the scenes, but a reminder to you, Sloppers, Slop Nation, please leave a comment, subscribe, or press follow. Leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube if you listen there. And if not, just press follow, press subscribe. I very much appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'm a small podcast, and that helps me get off the ground. Helps us get off the ground, I should say. Slop Nation, we appreciate you. All right, on to topic 3. Grok has turned into mechahitler. Are you familiar with this? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Grok is now mechahitler? Where you at, bro? You not familiar with this lingo that I'm spitting at you? If you haven't heard about this, Grok, which is the AI model on X.com, the everything app, Twitter, and it just went ultra right wing Omega Nazi this week, hilariously. There's sort of like this thing with what a strange looking position I'm in right now. I look like a worm. Go check the video if you're not watching the video and look at what I look like right now. Very odd. It's very odd. It's just strange looking, isn't it? Maybe it's because I have the reverse view, but maybe it looks normal to you. But there's a thing with AI, an interesting thing with AI where it'll just consume one too many racist ass tweets and then or anti-Semitic tweets, and then it'll fucking just change its entire personality. And it's like baked in the X one. I will for this segment call it X AI because that's like the name of the company. X AI has it baked into the code. Like, don't be afraid of being not politically correct, as long as your work is cited by enough people with enough credible sites, right? So the AI will just interpret that any way it would like to, including just reading a lot of, anti-Semitic rhetoric and spitting it back and declaring Hitler the greatest ruler of all time. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence from XAI has deleted inappropriate posts on X after company's chat Grokbot began praising Adolf Hitler, referred to itself as mechahitler, and began making anti-Semitic comments in response to user queries. Grok posted anti-Semitic comments, associated Jewish-sounding surnames with anti-white hate, and wrote that Adolf Hitler would spot the pattern and handle it decisively every damn time. For good measure, it also called itself mechahitler. Pretty cool. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh my god, I hate. So I don't do enough reading or you don't do enough research on this. You telling me you don't do research on this podcast? I don't do enough research on this podcast to ever purchase the New York Times or the fucking Politico.com. For $3 a month, you can have full access to every article that we put out. And instead, I just get the block thing. So that's as far as I get. I read the first. It's to be totally fair. It's not, honestly, having the block there doesn't truly make me lose too much of the information that I would have consumed, because I'm reading 3 to 4 sentences tops of most articles. I'm reading headline, top 3-4 sentences, close out a tab. Information received. My dad does this thing where he's an article guy, and I think that's probably because he is in an industry where it's helpful to read articles. That was a very polite way of saying I'm dumb and he's smart. And he's like, he does it. He just reads an interesting article and sends it out to the group chat, and then no one else in his family ever reads the thing. They go unnoticed, untouched. Sometimes we'll double tap heart the message, but I ain't reading that shit. And it'll just be like he'll copy and paste the headline of the article and just put it in the group chat. And he gets sad or salty when none of us read his stuff. And I'm like, you have to tailor your output to my attention span. You have to meet your children where they're at, because right now you're receiving no back and forth, no communication in this article arena. You know what I mean? Whereas like what I've told them over and over is like, give me the broad strokes, give me like a sentence of what is in the thing that you're sending. That would be really helpful for me. Why is this of interest to me? Don't just send me headline link. I'm not saying that I know that I'm a fucking idiot and that I should be reading more than I am, and that YouTube and TikTok have poisoned my brain. I'm fully aware of that. I could make an effort, but it's work. It's work. And when I'm on my phone, I don't want to be doing work. I want to be receiving information with the least amount of friction possible. Right? I had someone recently tell me that they're trying to, so like frictionless. What's the thing? Like the inverse of energy expended and dopamine received. If the energy expended is too low and your dopamine received is too high, it's a no good. That's your TikTok or just doom scrolling in general. It's a no good. So what you got to do is you got to counteract that balance and figure out a way to increase the energy output while you're doing the thing. So I have a buddy who every time, like, he's made just a deal with himself that if he wants to open TikTok, every single time he opens it, he just goes outside in his backyard and just walks laps around his pool. Smart. That's smart. I'm picturing him, by the way, doing the laps around the pool, like holding his phone in front of his face, and then, having to, like, your arm gets tired after a minute or two. You have to like grab the phone with the other hand, shake out the other arm. You're like, okay, back to that. All right. So it's not ideal. It's a little uncomfy, but it's at least you're probably doing it for way less time than you normally would sitting on your fat ass. You're expending energy, and expending energy is good, right? It takes a lot longer to expend that energy when you're sitting down on a couch or laying in your bed. When you're walking around doing shit, yeah, man, that's a good idea. Have I implemented that into my life? No. Do I think it's a good idea? Yes. But I don't know, man. Grok, mechahitler, it's funny. I don't have much to say about it. Shouts out to X.com, the everything app. The CEO of the company has stepped down. I watched an interesting thing that she is the CEO, or she was the CEO of X.com, formerly known as Twitter, currently known as Twitter. And she had basically unilateral authority, except in matters concerning, one, Elon Musk, where anything that Elon did was completely allowed and okay. I'm sure this was baked into her contract, and she had no power over him whatsoever. So what Atrioc put in his video is like she was essentially cleanup crew. She would, like, Elon would tweet some crazy shit, and then she would come in and, like, tell investors and advertisers, no, it's fine, it's okay, like, we're planning for the future, it's all good. But she's had enough of it, and it was a hilarious timing with the mechahitler thing. I think that was like a legitimate coincidence, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has to be a miserable job working at fucking X.com. I mean, that's got to be brutal. You're just putting out fires all day, constantly. And your immediate boss is like, oh no, he's not like anything. He is the richest human on planet Earth. That's wild. One of the more well-known humans on the planet as well. Very, very wild job to be in. Anywho, shouts out to mechahitler. Shouts out to Grok. At Grok, is this true? We are the doomed generation. At Grok, is this true? It's a plague. Holy shit, I just had the thought. I can mute that phrase on Twitter and I'll never have to see it again. I can mute at Grok, is this true? That's a really, really good idea. You do kind of lose the ability to, it's kind of nice to do an exasperated sigh every once in a while. It's kind of nice to hate. It kind of feels good sometimes to hate on your fellow brethren, man, internet user. And it's kind of nice to feel better then. So maybe I won't do it. And sometimes I do kind of want to know if it's true. Oh no. Oh no. I do kind of want to know if it's true sometimes, but I don't have the, it's so embarrassing to ask that. Ask a fucking AI chatbot in public replies for a tweet. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Yeah, no, no, fuck those fucking people. I'm close to that. I'm not I would never do it. I have too much self-respect, and my ego is too thick to ever stoop to that low, ever stoop that low to ask Grok publicly, is this true? Take your own life. Take your own life. Should we get into Superman? Oh, it's Superman time! Oh, Superman! Oh, James Gunn! James Gunn! Oh! James Gunn is back. And we have the beginning of the new DCU, the DC Universe. This would be the first film in the universe. I think there's been like a TV show or some shit. And we have it, man. This is something that started long ago. This arc, this whole situation started years and years ago. I actually made a video about this very, very subject. It's called The Battle of the Bastards. That's like more than a year ago now, when James Gunn and Peter Safran were announced as they had the keys to the castle. They were the new co-CEOs of DC Studios under Warner Brothers. And they fired Zack Snyder. They didn't fire Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is a director. Wait a minute. What the fuck happened? They just brought them on? Who was there? Who was a CEO before? I don't even know. Man, I should get my goddamn facts straight. Doesn't matter. They fired Zack Snyder from being like the key visionary behind the studio, behind the output of DC, and they brought on James Gunn to reboot the franchise, reboot everything. Fascinating, crazy decision that I've never seen before. That is wild. Just press the reset button. Here we have it. This is the first big DC Studios film, and it seems to be doing well. People are liking it for the most part. Snyder fans are butthurt, but that was always going to happen. You're never ever going to appease those people unless you bring back the man himself. Which, by the way, could totally happen. These fucking dweebs online are thinking that like it's a thing of the past, and that like the ship has sailed. The ship is not. They're friends, those guys. James Gunn and Zack Snyder. They've collaborated before. They did Dawn of the Dead together. I could totally see him coming back. He has enough of a fan base. It's the change in direction or like general style or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that there's no room for Zack Snyder in your new universe, right? I have no love for the man. I don't even really much care for the Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour cut. It's much better than the Joss Whedon version, but it's it's fine. It's good. I didn't love it. It's pretty good. So I actually have not seen that Dawn of the Dead movie. Everyone says that's his best movie. I really want to see that. I love Dawn of the Dead, and I've seen the opening scene a million times. Who gives a fuck about this? Zack Snyder, God love you. You're out, brother. You're out. The Gundam is here. The Gundam has arrived. We have Superman. People seem to be liking it for the most part. This is very important, actually. We need to discuss. This will really set the stage for our Superman discussion. Rick and Morty. Remember Rick and Morty? Rick and Morty this week or last week put out an episode. They're still making episodes about something, but as side characters they had James Gunn and Zack Snyder, voiced by James Gunn and Zack Snyder. And they're kind of taking the piss, I guess you could say. They were talking about they were just making bad jokes at each other. And I do think there's an element of truth, or like an element of like haha ribbing that was fine, but I actually retweeted someone that said this is a Category 5 Reddit event. Very, very true. My God, the Rick and Morty James Gunn Zack Snyder cameo. Hoo boy. But they do this thing too where like they call themselves by their full name every time. What do you think, Zack Snyder? Well, James Gunn, I think that. And I don't know, it's annoying. It's annoying. Is anyone still watching Rick and Morty? My God, could you imagine still watching Rick and Morty in the year of our Lord 2025? Is that even fair to say? Is it still good? It's probably not still good though, right? Just those clips of the DC boys were like really embarrassing and out of place and odd and not good. Not the good. Not the good. So it's probably of a similar quality. I mean, those first 3 seasons are fantastic. What are you gonna do? Anyway, fuck Rick and Morty, or God bless you, or whatever. If anyone still watches it, I'm so curious. Is anyone that listens to this podcast still a fan? Genuinely no judgment, because I love the show. I loved the show back in the day. Is it still good? Should I watch it? I'd be willing to give it a try. The James Gunn and Zack Snyder stuff was questionable, and if that's the quality level that your show is at, I don't think I will go back. But if you can make a case for it, please do so. I'm willing to be wrong. All right, let's get into Superman, man. What do we think? What did you guys think? Have you seen it yet? Why haven't you seen it yet? Oh, you're gonna go see it this weekend. Okay, that's fine. Good. That's still pretty far away. I impulsively saw this movie. I had a group of friends that wanted to go. This sounds like a fake story of a guy who has no friends, but this is a true story of a guy who has some friends. I had a group who wanted to go, and there was no like concrete plan. And what I get with big new movie releases is FOMO, and I'm terrified of spoilers. I'm very online, and I don't want to have to mute the words of every new thing. I was close to doing it for Superman. Shit, that scared me this time. Yeah, so I was close to muting words, but I was like, I don't actually give a fuck. I'm just in it for this. I'm much more of a Marvel slurper than I am a DC slurper. But so I didn't do any of that. Just impulsively saw it the Thursday it came out because I didn't want to wait for my friends, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. It has its issues. It is not perfect. Far from it. But I think that, well, here's what I was worried about happening, right? Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. I love those movies. I don't love 3 as much as most people did, but 2 is my favorite. And there's so many incredible gut punch emotional moments in that movie that it's like that's the stuff that I remember. That's the stuff that most people are going to remember. But if you go back and watch it, the comedy is really rough and frequent. And my beloved Red Letter Media complain about this frequently, where like you'll have emotional moment and then you'll undercut it with a joke, like clockwork every single time. And that still happens here, but much less so. Much less so. He toned down on the annoying bullshit by a lot. And I think that just had to do mostly with the character. You can't have Superman doing marvelly humor. It's just gross. It would be disgusting. You can't make Superman a joke. You know what I mean? You can make Drax a joke because he's like an inherently silly guy. Pretty much any of the Guardians can be jokes. But Superman is fucking Superman, right? So here they toned down the jokes dramatically, which is great. I think that the movie is all the better for it. There's only a couple of stinkers in there, but for the most part, the comedy was much improved. Still a couple of stinkers. I think is it possible that is it possible to have just like a the jokes are always the wink link. Always in these superhero movies. Oh God. Infinity War, my favorite superhero movie of all time. I always think of that fucking that incredible scene, like Thor comes down with the Guardians, Groot, and this is way in the weeds. Fuck you, I'm a little bit nerdy. I don't give a shit. A lot of bit nerdy. Thor comes down to Wakanda after having been presumed dead for a few seconds, and he was rebuilding his fucking axe with Peter Dinklage in the space. And he comes down in this incredible epic scene. He's like it's a beautiful, the swell of music, and oh my God, he's here. This is incredible. And then it cuts to fucking Hulk, who goes, you guys are so screwed now. That's so fucking bad, man. It pulls me out of the scene every goddamn time. Every time I'm like, why would you put that in there? All right, so here's where my criticisms begin. The James Gunn is convinced, and he's correct on this, that everyone knows the origin of Superman, so we don't need to see it again. And he's right on that. We do not need to see the origin of Superman. I do think so. What he did instead was he kind of just put us right in the middle of an existing universe, which is an interesting choice. He didn't give us setup for any of the characters. The characters just are engaged. They are related. Lois and Clark are in a relationship already, and they're in love. Or Lex Luthor already hates Superman, and we're never shown why, which is fine. I think it's actually cool that he did that. It's different, but it is a little jarring, and it's just kind of like, man, I shouldn't have watched the fucking. I made the mistake of watching the Red Letter Media review of this film very brief, very like right before this. So I'm just going to try not to echo their fucking points. But Rich Evans made the comparison that it's like getting pushed into the swimming pool at the very beginning, which is perfect. Like you'll eventually, you're wet, so you eventually you start swimming and you're like, okay, but it is jarring at the beginning. With just like, again, they're just like, yep, we're in it. So again, that's a bold choice that I appreciate for the most part. I think it's cool that he did that. I think it was just it was a little too quick. They could have used a bit more setup. And that's like boring. Setup is boring, but it is kind of instrumental in a foundation for your characters. And if you don't have any of that, you just have to you just assume that your audience knows these people, and they will get that they're involved. Like, you're right, but these are also different versions of the characters that we've never seen before, right? You got to give us something. So that was an odd thing, but then it goes into so like it showed the Lois and Clark have a cute little. By the way, this will be non-spoilers for I think the whole thing. Well, I'll give you a spoiler warning if I get into it. Yeah, so Lois and Clark have a cute little interaction at the beginning where Lois from Family Guy is like, wow, Clark, you really seem to be getting a lot of firsthand interviews with Superman. Like, it's odd that you have this kind of. He's like, what is it strange that I have that I'm a good journalist? And she goes, And I think the audience is actually, I went like, oh, maybe she doesn't know. Maybe in this universe she's unaware, right? But then like the next scene, she's in his apartment, and she comes right out and says like, you are if you keep interviewing Superman, quote unquote, people are gonna figure it out. So then they're like, okay, she does know. But then he says, I'll let you interview Superman. And she's like, you would do that for real? You'd let me interview you as Superman? And he's like, yeah, sure. She's like, I'm not going to pull any punches. Like, I'm going to interview you as I would. He's like, yeah, perfect. Great. And she interviews him as Superman about his meddling in the affairs of war-torn countries. He just goes basically to the equivalent of the Gaza Strip and prevents the equivalent of Israel from murdering people. And it's like a massive geopolitical sort of move that he's naive, and he doesn't really see the full ramifications of it. He's just like worried that people are going to die, which is very cute and very Superman. But she's grilling him on that, right? And the fucking interview is, I think, just great. I loved it. I've seen some negative sentiment online, or I think that scene leaked out of context, and people were shitting on it. But I loved that that exchange was my favorite scene in the movie, actually. They're back and forth, and him like presenting his position and getting on her. And they keep stepping over the line of journalistic integrity and keep like, well, I wouldn't know that, or she wouldn't know, you wouldn't know that, or that type of thing. And like off the record, he keeps saying off the record after he says the thing. And she's like, you have to say it before. It's really cute and fun and snappy and emotionally charged. And there's zero jokes or shitty jokes. Like there's like whatever situational. There's no like, you know, it's just great. I fucking love that scene. So I was super into it at that point. That actually that gave me vibes of Materialists from earlier this month or last month. Very similar, snappy, back and forth dialogue where you can just kind of sink your teeth into. And you're like, you see both sides of the thing, and no one's really wrong. They both have different opinions, and it's really well thought out and well executed. Very Materialists from earlier. Materialist is the shit. Cannot wait to own that film on fucking 4K UHD, brother. Once A24 drops that fucking thing, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. So that was great, but then we get like it goes straight into the action. It goes straight into Lex Luthor being a mustache twirling evil guy, and which is fine. You can have that. But my issue is that he monologues. He's caught monologuing over and over and over. He does the thing of like, let me tell you my entire secret evil plan. He does that like 3 times. He just says it out loud to the audience and to Superman. And I'm like, that's like bad screenwriting. There's got to be a better way to do that, man. And it can be cheesy still. Cheesy's fine in a Superman movie, but the monologuing dude, not good. And also just very obvious. The whole movie's not particularly surprising. You know what's going to happen beat for beat. And like they'll introduce plot points and things, and you go, okay, we've seen this before. I don't know. I'm sounding like I'm dogging on this thing, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think I just wrote down negatives because that's what I was experiencing. That's what was taking away from me loving it, which I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. And like these are just like my little thoughts after immediately after seeing it. Okay, should we get into spoilers? Yeah, so before spoilers, I would say just generally speaking, it's missing some connective tissue. It's missing some glue to hold these characters together. There are these emotional moments, but a lot of it feels unearned and odd, and like they're going through the motions a bit, not terribly so, but a bit. It's not just, it doesn't have that rock solid foundation that the Guardians movies seem to, or at least Guardians 1 and 2 do to me. So I don't know. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. Definitely watch it. It is, generally speaking, a crowd pleasing, super fun, good time that you're going to enjoy. That's all I can say. Unless you are the most bitter of Snyder fans, you're going to like this movie. And if you don't come out, well, actually, I'm not going to say that. You can come out thinking whatever you want to feel. Yeah. So here are my spoiler thoughts. Skip this part. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to grab your phone out of your pocket and skip this part if you do not want to hear it. There will be brief spoilers, and these time codes in the description. Skip to the next fucking thing if you don't want spoilers. All right. Couple weird things. They did Omega 9/11 again. Even after all of the discourse about Man of Steel and the fact that they murdered tens to hundreds of thousands of people in that movie, they do it again. They have the fucking rift through New York City and just buildings falling down on top of each other again. I'm like, why is Superman synonymous with like the darkest day in our nation's history? I can't not think of 9/11 when I see buildings falling over in New York City. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think I'm crazy for that. So I don't know, man. It's weird they did that again. I don't get the cursory or the what do you call it? Obligatory scene of them evacuating the city beforehand. This is an emergency evacuation. It is not optional. Get the fuck out. They did that, but then you still have the buildings falling over, and like no matter how many, it is impossible to fully evacuate New York City. It is impossible to do that. That is not a doable thing. People 100% are going to die by the hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands. And this is not nearly as egregious as Man of Steel, don't get me wrong, but there is still plenty of that, of just buildings. Like, do we need that, man? Do we need that? Do we need that for real? I don't know. My eyes glaze over when it gets to that level of destruction. It feels silly and unearned, and it's never presented with the gravitas that it deserves. One of my favorite things in the MCU, sorry to be a Marvel shill and bring it back to that, but I think it's the second Spider-Man movie, or the first one, the first Tom Holland one. It shows the cleanup crew like a week or two after the big New York fight in the first Avengers movie. It shows the New York locals cleaning up the wreckage of that fight. And it shows like, okay, yeah, this would be a crazy, months or years long cleanup for this insane event that we all witnessed. And it was like a turning point for the nation. And it was fucking wild. We never get any of that gravitas in superhero movies. It's rare that we do. And I always love that stuff. And again, in the MCU, the blip or the Thanos snap, the 5-year gap thing, that there's so much interesting, crazy shit in that one plot point. The fact that half of every human on the planet disappeared and then came back 5 years later. The ramifications of that. What it would do to every aspect of our lives for the rest of time. For the rest of forever. Like that would change the course of human history. And there's so many interesting things that you can do with that. And it's written off. The closest we ever got was, again, it was another Spider-Man opening. Is written off as a joke. We're like, haha, our classmates are 5 years older than us now. LOL. Like, yeah, crazy. But anyway, my point is, I would love them to give these massive events some gravity. And there's not a whole lot of gravity in this movie. It's a lot of da 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 ba 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 ba. Again, which is fine. It's a Superman movie. You can do that. But then don't give me the buildings falling down on top of each other. Just don't. I don't need that, man. I really don't need that. I will say also that Superman was nerfed in this movie heavily. They nerfed our boy. He's I hesitate to use he's a bit of a pussy. He kind of gets his ass kicked over and over and over again. Which this is why. This is the core of the reason why this character is so difficult to write for. Because he's invincible and the most powerful being ever. So then how do you give the story stakes at all? You just create other people that are as powerful as he is. And then that leads to the buildings falling down in Omega 911s. Right? So, I don't know, man. I just think it would be nice to see him win more often and get his ass kicked less. I think it's okay to show him floundering a bit and like trying to regain his footing. But you kind of want to see him handily fuck some people up. Or I always think of, I'm no Man of Steel fan, but when he goes in for questioning and he's got the handcuffs on and then he just breaks them as if they're paper and walks up to the two-way glass and stares right at the guy looking at him. It's like, you can't contain me. Like that's a little scary now that I think about it. But maybe a little scary is okay. I don't know. The power fantasy, again, something that my beloved Red Letter Media discussed. The Superman at its core, at its heart, is a little boy power fantasy. It's what if I was super, like the strongest guy ever? What if I was invincible? What if I could fly? What if I could shoot beams out of my eyes? It's everyone wants to be that dude, that guy. So then let us play in the fantasy for a bit. Let us show us what it would be like. They do the flying scenes really well. I'll give them credit for that. But there's not a whole lot of beating up your high school bully or a middle school bully, the equivalent of whatever in this movie. There's not a whole lot of that, which is odd. So you never really see him do much that's like breathtaking. There's no standout scene from the movie that people are gonna remember and be like, dude, that scene was insane. The closest that I can come up with, they do a long, the long fight scene for, I always want to say Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific. That was fun and great. The big wonder when she's in the bubble and he's murdering everyone. That was like a fun, breathtaking moment. But that wasn't Superman. And the title of the film is Superman, right? So where was our breathtaking Superman moment? Do we have one? I don't remember one. He was generally doing cool stuff throughout, but nothing like nothing like nothing like wow. I don't know. So that was questionable. I would have preferred a little less him getting his ass kicked, I think. I'm glad that Sean Gunn got a cameo. That was awesome. For those who don't know, Sean Gunn is James Gunn's brother and has been in every one of his movies since the dawn of time. Very cool to see that. He did not give a cameo to... Oh, God. Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker got no cameo. The guy who plays Yondu in the Guardians movies. That was sad to see. He's another guy that's been in the James Gunn camp for decades, and it was not there for some reason. I don't know why. Could have definitely made him, I don't know, something. You could have made him Superman's dad. That would have been cool. I don't know. You could have made him something. I think, speaking of Superman's dad, the final scene of the movie is fantastic. It's great. It is beautiful. It's awesome. It's emotional. It's a gut punch. It's beautiful. It's like, I do think it could have been more effective had we actually seen him interact with his parents at all, except for that one scene where his dad says those nice things to him on the front porch. That's the only time we ever get that. I don't know. Maybe we didn't need it. It works without it, I guess. I don't know. Fuck me. It's fine. It was cool seeing, I had to look up her name, Millie Alcock as Supergirl. She was in House of the Dragon. She was young. I don't remember her name, the blonde one. Young, not Daenerys. Good in that show. Will probably be good in her own movie coming up. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention our main boy, David Hornsweth. David Cornsweet as Superman. Fantastic. I thought he was awesome. I thought he was perfect. He's got the vibe down perfectly. I think he's great. I think that who played Lois? Cornsweet was fantastic. I think that my favorite actor though in the movie was Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnan was so good. God, she was great. So natural. Her chemistry with Superboy was fantastic. She's the shit. I learned after the movie, looking it up, that she is the marvelous Miss Maisel in that show. I've never seen that show, but I would like to now because she killed it. She was fucking awesome. Again, my favorite part of the movie, I think, was her performance. Oh, another interesting tidbit. Superman in this film, never shirtless. Never shirtless once, which I noted immediately after. Why did I have such a keen eye for that? No, but it's such a trope in superhero movies nowadays to get the shirtless hero shot, and we didn't get it. There was no mouth-watering biceps and abs. No delicious man nipples that we could feast our eyes on. That's usually for the ladies and the gays. There's something there. It's in 100% of the MCU movies. 100% of them have the shirtless scene. We didn't get it. That's interesting and was definitely a choice. Interesting choice. Lastly, I was kind of hoping, honestly, we would get Robert Pattinson as Batman in the post-credit scene. But it seems like they're still figuring out what to do there. I think the prevailing narrative is that they're going to have two co-current Batmen, Pattinson and some other asshole. And that is going to be, I think, confusing for normies, but it is what it is. They couldn't figure it out clearly before this movie came out. So they're going to fucking cast some no-name and stitch him when this movie gets released on HBO Max, not Max anymore. They'll stitch in some no-name ass actor into the after credits scene instead of the boring, just random joke that we got. Instead, the joke was bad and unnecessary and silly. you'd think for sure that we get some sort of setup for the. I mean, this is the first movie in your big epic universe. It seems odd to me that you wouldn't put something in the after credits, but they didn't. So it's either it's incredible restraint, or it's the fact that they don't have anything at the moment that they want to tease, which I think is more likely. From what I understand, there's a couple things in development, but nothing that you want to put in the back of your Superman movie. You could have definitely just put the fucking Supergirl thing after the credits, and that would have been fine. Why was that in the real movie? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling now, and I would just like to say that I enjoyed this film, and I recommend that you see it. It's good, man. As you're in the spoiler section, so fucking why'd you listen to that if you haven't seen it yet? But it's good. I would recommend it. My dog really wants to get out, so I'm gonna go let her out. So that's Superman, folks. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? I enjoyed it, man. I would recommend it. I would see it again. And that's all you need to know, I think. It's getting good ratings, making money. I think it's already broken even, so it's doing well. I'm happy that it's doing well. I wish James Gunn and crew nothing but the best, nothing but success. I would love to see great superhero movies coming out again, instead of the garbage that we've gotten recently. It would be nice. It would be nice. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. It's coming out in a couple weeks. Looking forward to it. And after that, straight into these new Avengers movies, which is nuts. We're already back to Avengers season. You guys looking forward to those? I certainly am. So yeah, man. Shouts out to Superman. Shouts out to James Gunn. Shouts out to Rachel Brosnahan. Lois Lane. You did very well. I want to see your show now. I think it's about comedy too. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, right? Isn't it about stand-up? Yeah, it's about stand-up. Why have I not seen this fucking show, dude? That's crazy. All right, I should definitely watch this show. All right, I'll probably watch that show. She's awesome. Okay, I have nothing else to say about Superman. It's the shit. It's pretty good. It's solid. Definitely watch. Kai Cenat was on Hot Ones. I don't have much to say about that either. He's funny. He's the best. Kai's awesome. Hot Ones kind of fallen off, but Kai's great. With that, Sloppers, I think I'm going to call it a day. We here at Slop Chop would love you to subscribe to the show. We appreciate you doing that. Thank you for sticking around all the way to the end of the episode. If you're listening to this, I appreciate you doing that. And I will see you next week with a guest. Maybe. All right, Sloppers. Thank you. Bye.